Regardless of the country you are in, you'll be able to transact in your native
So, for
currency.
example, you can do bank to your platform.
Yes, you can.
Or M-Pesa, for example, to
Yes,
your
you
platform.
can. Yes, you can.
And then another country will also do it in their own currency.
Yes, yes.
And the reason I'm asking you this is because now we have a very serious situation.
Yes.
With the hard currencies.
Yes.
And this is not just a Kenyan situation.
Yes.
It is a Pan-African situation. And I will give you an example. Tea. Our tea exporters right now are unable to sell in Egypt, one of our core markets. The reason being that in Egypt they don't have the dollars to pay us.
Yeah.
So how can we be able to use blockchain solutions such as yours to get out of this trap of hard currencies, especially within the African markets?
Thank you for that question. Actually, that has been part of our motivation. We do not use the US dollar in settling trades on the platform. If you have Egyptian dollars, you can load it onto the platform and you can pay a Kenyan trader who will receive the money on this side in Kenya shillings. There's no need for any counterparty to have US dollars on the trading platform. So purely trade will be based on African currencies alone.
So perhaps what you need more than the money is the opportunity. So let's have a conversation.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Keba. I think that's the only question we shall take from the audience right now. And I think it is quite a big one for him because from a pitch in Diani and now he has a potential of a whole continent as his marketplace. Not too bad a pitch in 5 minutes. Another round of applause for him. Thank you so much. We'll move from fintech now to healthcare. And the next company to come and pitch is a medical technology company, screening medical images for radiologists and hospitals in real time to identify common indicators of tuberculosis, pneumonia, as well as lung, breast, and prostate cancer. Please welcome on stage Tom Kinyanjui Njoroge. He's a co-founder and CEO of Neurolabs Africa. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Tom Kinyanjui. So folks, almost half a decade ago, I lost a close friend to an entirely preventable disease. This came at a time I was pursuing machine learning in data science, and I started positively thinking, how could data science and technology influence the healthcare space? Fast forward, almost half a decade later, we founded Neurolabs Africa. Because my friend isn't the only one. Every year, hundreds of thousands of Africans lose loved ones to entirely preventable diseases with timely diagnosis. But diseases will run rampant in Africa due to overburdened and under-resourced health systems. Patients in many communities will have to wait for up to 2 weeks to receive analyzed lab results. But when aggressive diseases like pneumonia, especially in children, can kill in less than 72 hours, longer wait time is definitely a death sentence. That's why we founded Neurolabs Africa. Our technology leverages on deep learning and computer vision to screen medical images for radiologists and hospitals in real time to identify common indicators. We are working with about 13 pathologies. These are, for instance, pleural effusion. Finally, the pleural effusion, we can also identify tumors such as malignant and benign tumors in real time. So radiologists get to upload images on our platform to get real-time results. Today, we are working with UNICEF Innovation Fund to run clinical trials of our solution in Kenya, Senegal, and Rwanda. As a company, we have come a long way, but this is just but the beginning. We welcome you to join us on our challenge to improve healthcare for all in Africa using AI. Thank you.
Okay, I think my first question is one that is, I think most people might have it in mind. With the advent of ChatGPT, it's democratized AI, to say the least. I believe that you have, I'm sure that you guys have built an algorithm that, that is probably using some of these open source technologies. So my question is, how do you protect yourself from people who will copycat what you've done, build a similar solution?
I'll answer that question with an example, which is a very good question. For instance, if you write a poem, there are a lot of people who can write poems, but you copyright your poem, you copyright your music, and that's exactly what happens in the tech space. You copyright your process.
Okay. Maybe then a second question, and this is just looking at the area that you're addressing. It's a very sensitive area, obviously, and I'm pretty sure that you must go through some rigorous testing to ensure that your algorithm doesn't give false negatives or false positives. Is that something you've put in place to ensure that, because you must have a high degree of correctness?
Yes, that's a good question as well. And that's exactly what we are doing with UNICEF Innovation Fund. We are assessing sensitivity, we are assessing specificity, precision score, our accuracy, also seeing in terms of adoptability, how could our technology be adopted within the medical imaging space, within hospitals, within Africa. So that is what we are hoping and we are working towards achieving on our MOU with UNICEF Innovation Fund.
Okay, thank you. So I take it that you're not already in the market yet?
Yes, we are working with pre-selected hospitals to run clinical trials within the 3 countries.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom. So I just want to get clarity on what you do. So you're a software solution company.
Yes.
So what you do is get all these images and create a story from them. And I come for a scan, it's referenced against the database and gives me almost 80% accuracy of what the ailment is?
Not directly, no. So what we do is, for instance, if you go to your hospital, let me answer this with a scenario, and you see your doctor, and you tell him or her, probably 30 years, I've been having chest pains, then he writes and records all that. When did you start coughing, for instance? Then probably needs more information, sends you for, let's say, a chest x-ray, right? So when you go to the radiology department, you'll meet a radiographer who will help you take an x-ray. Then that image will be given to a radiologist who will then interpret this image and say there was presence of pleural effusion on the left lung, there was infiltration somewhere, there was cardiomegaly. This report will then be given back to your doctor. And you'll use the information you gave during consultation and the report from the radiologist to make a diagnosis and say, this is actually viral or bacterial pneumonia. So we come in at the lab, and you'll probably find in your local hospital, screening is done once in a week, because it's when the radiologist comes in. According to the Kenya Radiologist Association, there are only 200 in the country. We need to help them. So real-time diagnosis. By the time you put back your shirt on after that x-ray, the results are with your doctor.
So how do you go about engaging?
So, maybe just to answer that bit. So what happens, we have trained our AI with a data set of up to 200K images. For instance, we're able to label, I will show you a picture, an example, able to label infiltration on your chest x-ray, pleural effusion, or aortic enlargement, and there are about a list of 13 pathologies.
So in your view, what is the threshold of success? How many images do you need to have in your database to consider yourself successful, to be able to maybe diagnose as many as 40% of the ailments, for instance?
Yeah, those are some of the questions we have been also looking at in terms of statistically, as well as involving our end users.
who are the radiologists and the hospitals. So we came up with a scenario. How many data points does a radiologist with 20 years of experience probably seen? If you have 20 years of experience, how many images have you analyzed? Then we'll probably say, let's use this as the data points to train our technology. But really dynamic, because statistics will not say that. Probably say you need good quality images, you need only probably 10,000 data points per pathology. So if you multiply by 13, translates to 130K. But we are looking at more into, for you to be an experienced radiologist with 10, 15, 20 years of experience, how many images have you analyzed?
All right, thanks. Chris?
Good work.
Thanks.
Sounds very impactful, and that's actually where my question is too. In your opinion, when you are fully up and running and your AI is working optimally, what are you going to save, would I say country or healthcare, from a cost savings point of view? How low can you bring, or how fast can you deliver? What's the impact of this? Because I think you've not brought that out. I can hear a good thing, but I think you need to expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a good question on impact. So, first of all, we start with the first things first. You see, you go to a hospital, probably go back again for your lab results. That cost is out because you get your results on the same day. 2, you see what makes imaging, or rather diagnostics, very expensive is the cost associated to it. And we reduce that burden because we have, for instance, how you used to struggle to send money up country before M-Pesa. So, but now with technology, that cost becomes cheaper because probably you had to go there yourself. So these are some of the lines that we are looking at, reducing also cases of misdiagnosis.
So if an X-ray is 10,000, by how much do you expect to be able to bring that cost down? That's just a percentage-wise.
Also, that would be difficult to answer because also it depends on the players, because the more the money, the better for the hospital. And on the other side, the burden to the patient. So really dynamic, and hopefully we could work with them to solve that problem.
Lastly, what do you need to scale?
Say that again?
What do you need to scale the operation?
Yeah, for sure. But for us now, what we are looking at is customer service. We have several hospitals approaching us. We have radiologists approaching us. We need to use your technology. We are working with Vilgro Africa Startup Initiative, some of our also partners in Health Tech Hub. So what we really need is, we're looking to collect more data, and which is quite a challenge. Not only in the probably X-rays, we are working to breast cancer, prostate cancer. Good quality data is a problem because, again, we don't want the hard copies, because by the time we have a soft copy of that, we have reduced the quality. So working with hospitals with good quality data will be a good start.
Thank you.
Any more questions, please? Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. One more round of applause for him. And Neural Labs, here at Connected Summit, we practice mic equity. We want to move on to the manufacturing category. I want to call on Kiko Muo, CEO of Angaza Elimu. It is focused on transforming education in Kenya and beyond by implementing innovative and affordable modern models of learning and teaching. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. My name is Kiko Muo. I'm the CEO and founder of Angaza Elimu, an education technology company with a focus of working with schools, especially primary, secondary, and recently tertiary. We all know, despite the extraordinary gains in access of education, Kenya is still struggling to provide quality and relevant education for its youth to be impactful. And this is not just Kenya. All other sub-Saharan African countries are facing the same. It's estimated that by 2035, Africa will be producing the largest workforce. But there's a huge challenge because the type of product that we're giving into the market doesn't really match the skills that the industry needs. And this is where we come in as Angaza Elimu. We do look into terms of how can we leverage technology to teach skills that are really required for 21st century. And we looked into spinning out STEM education and with a huge focus on Internet of Things. And the reason why we look at Internet of Things as a skill training area is the potential that it's given. And we're looking how do we really focus on hardware training for these students and both software training. So the product that we've come in for our IoT school is really build up local solutions that are contextualized to really accelerate the Millennium Goals. So we've really started on how can we leverage IoT both for training and use in agriculture. We built a smart farming precision kit that is really installed in the schools, where the students really learn on using that device for one, to understand the technology and deploy that in the school farms, where they can use that to become sustainable in the production of food. We're also looking into other things of smart homes and healthcare. Our kits really cost about like $120, and the training is about like $150. So far, we do have a traction of about 40 schools in our second year of operation that we are working with 40 secondary schools together with some of our partners like Young Scientists Kenya and Liquid Intelligent Technologies. What we're really looking forward is how can we scale these, especially really building around makerspaces in the schools, where these students don't just think about all these ideas on paper, but then they can convert these ideas into actual products that can be able to contribute to the growth of our economy. The goal is to tap in at a very early stage. We don't have to wait to these students to get into higher learning so that we can keep telling them what to pursue. The talent is out there in secondary schools and even in primary schools. I'm glad that we've seen CBC taking over, and this is the goal of transforming education in Kenya. What we're really looking forward as a company is to grow this, and what we're saying is how can we really link academia to the industry. We want the industry to step into the academia in support of these makerspaces, where they can be able to provide support of building of these devices and these technologies. Glad we've seen that some coming up. One of our partners who helps in development of these kits is Gearbox Zero Placer, together with Raspberry Pi, who have set up shop in Kenya, and we're looking forward to progressing and making the production of these kits cheaper so that they can grow. But then we're calling up other more industry players to support. We're looking at cloud partners who can support these students who are deploying the IoT solutions on the cloud, and many more people who will look into the transforming of how really we teach skills in our schools, not just more the theoretical but practical area. We're also currently fundraising for a seed round, and we're looking for $1.25 million, especially for the production of the kits. As I mentioned, our traction currently is 40 schools. This year, we almost clock in 160 schools that have been signed up for the current program coming in second term. And this will help us clock over 1.75 in revenue. Our current traction for revenue last year was $360,000 in revenue for the IoT school. Thank you so much, and I welcome questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Kiko. I'll be very brief. I surmise that you competing with the likes of Udemy and Coursera and so forth, right? So it's a highly competitive market. How do you intend to compete against the giants in that sector?
Great. So what we've really looked into is not just say that skills training is got to be online training. So what we looked into, how can we incorporate hybrid model trainings, and especially looking at the edge that we're targeting. Self-paced learning for students at that edge is not what really works. And so what we put up is really invest in our workforce that's able to support the training. So that's one of our key goals, really. Instructors who are well-vetted, well-trained to support the training of the students and also the curation of the content. But moving forward to other levels is where we're looking also how can we build a platform where people can curate and deploy content further to support the goal so that we can have a huge data bank of content that we're looking at. Yeah.
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, so you will be training trainers as well? Or do you only want to provide a platform where I, as a trainer, independent trainer, can sign up, create content, and sell through your platform?
Right. So currently what is happening is we have our in-house trainers who are training the students, but we've opened up the e-learning platform where trainers can build and curate the content and create a marketplace for them to also sell that content so that we can have much reach. We're not just looking for IoT because skills training is massive, and that's why we do believe through the e-learning platform that we've created can have a huge much reach for more people who have content and can be deployed there in the market. As I mentioned, we're not just looking at the focus of the sale for the kids. Actually, our revenue is divided into the sale of the kids and the subscription cost for the students who are on the platform. And what we really see as a huge scaling point is how can we scale this e-learning platform to reach more students and beyond. Yeah.
Thanks for that description, Kiko. So tell me a bit more about this kit. What comprises the kit exactly?
Great. So I'll do speak about the smart farming kit that we mentioned. So basically, it's a bit of hardware sensors that we look into. When you talk about smart farming, how can you monitor things like irrigation? How can you monitor temperature, humidity? So there are all these sensors there, and we have like a microcontroller that we put, and what we part of the first beneficiaries of the locally made Raspberry Pis in Kenya, whom we use in their microcontrollers in that kit. And then it uses some technologies for connectivity, like Wi-Fi and GSM. And then we do have the cloud platform where these students and even teachers who are monitoring the school farms are monitoring locally for that, and goes beyond into also us providing them with insights on how their crops are actually doing. So the kit, as I said, one, it spans out as our training kit, but also as an actual kit that's actually being used in the school farms for the students.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. No question from me, just a comment. Good work. I can see some great traction. BlackRock will always be happy to help you in fundraising, so we can talk some more later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for him, please. As we get to our last pitch at this particular point, I'd also like to recognize the presence of Mr. Anthony Ngororano, resident representative of UNDP Kenya with us. Many thanks for making time to be here this particular part of the event. Our last pitch is Kabarak University Electronic Voting Information System. Good conversation to have, because as of now, we know Kenyans, Africans, politics, elections, we need a solution, and this could be it. Born out of the need to control costs, to simplify logistics, as well as to increase voter participation and confidence in student elections, they have a solution, and bringing you that solution is Moses M. Thiga. Round of applause for him, please.
Thank you, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As said, my name is Moses Thiga. I am a senior lecturer in information technology at Kabarak University. And I'm here to talk about elections. Very interesting. I was appointed chair of the Student Election Commission way back in 2015. The election was manual, just like Kenya still is. And with time, the numbers grew and the logistics became quite unmanageable. The costs were growing. And the university management sort of asked, if this is a trend, what next? We have 3,000 students. We are counting votes till morning. What will it be like when we have 10,000 students? Some voters are not participating, and etc. So around about 2017, we set off on a journey to automate that election. We got a bunch of students, computer science students. We did a pilot in 2018, and since 2019, up to date, the university elections have all been electronic and online. What does the system do? The system allows for us to create an election, upload candidates and photos and voters, and run that election using dynamically configured election parameters, more like what you think are constituencies. So today is an interesting day because over the last 5 years, we've had 5 associations within the university using this system. But today is an interesting day for us. We bagged our first client outside of the university, and they are actually running an election today And that client is Egerton University. Now, that is monumental for us because we have tested our own product, but somebody else has found it fit to trust us with an election. So what's our value proposition? Cost savings, flexibility. Oh, and yes, Fungua Server. We developed this system around the time Fungua Server came into existence. And yes, we have, allow me to just use the word, a blockchain-based solution that we use for vote verification. We offer the database to anyone who wants it. Recount the votes if you wish. Nobody's taking it up yet, but yes, we can, you know. And that in itself has given our clients confidence that this is transparent. It's flexible. For example, all is not smooth sailing today with our first client, but should they want to repeat an election, in 1 hour's time, we can reconfigure that election and they can do it again. So that is a product we have. So clients are able to log in on mobile, on web. They get a one-time voting token, vote for their positions or abstain, and within seconds of the end of an election, the results are out. Now that's the magic. They don't feel like they're running an election. It's a very queer feeling. There's no chaos, there's no paper, there's no ink, there is no movement, there's no polling stations, but yet at 4 o'clock, they'll be announcing results. So, what is our ask? We would like you to connect us to a church, to an association, to a TVET, to a university, to anybody doing elections. That is all we need from you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Moses. I think if you can score the government as a client.
That is our ask. We'd like to be connected to IEBC. But not just yet. Allow me to say, what is the secret ingredient here? It's not that we did a web-based system. It's the process of getting our voters and clients confident enough to use this system. That is the hard work. That is the hard work. And for Kenya, I think we are going to get there. I'm not ambitious about it in the next 10 years. But if we conquer the universities, if we get the TVETs to do it, generally we'll get acceptance within the community. And one day when the conversation comes up, there'll be the right people in the right places for online voting in Kenya. Thank you.
We look forward to that day for sure. Just a quick one around your commercial model. How do you monetize on this product?
Oh yes, yeah, we've been making money for 5 years. It's not a charity, it's a subscription. So our clients pay per voter. So today we have 13,500 voters, and they are quite a number, so they give us 20 shillings per voter. Yeah, but the lower numbers up to around 50 shillings per. So it's cost effective. In fact, they were surprised. Their budget was previously 1.5 million, headed 2 million. And today they pay around 300,000 only. But of course they have other costs. So cost reductions, subscription.
Okay, that's clear. So I'm a citizen, right? So I can vote in national elections. I might also be a member of a university, Egerton, for example, and I might vote in other elections as well. So if I'm a user, do I register twice for these two elections, or do I register once and I can participate in as many elections as possible?
Every election is a unique event in its own. In the national elections, your unique identifier will be a national ID, probably. You come to university as a student registration number. In some cases, they lose your different number. So that's why every election is unique in its own. So the organizer will have to upload a voter's register. You verify, of course, your details are correct, and etc. So every election is distinct for now.
Thank you, Moses, for that distinctive description. I'm just struggling to see what's special about your product, because we have similar products in the market which we use ourselves. Vivox, Vox Vote, Vote Me. What's special about your product?
What's special is that it actually gets used by a constituency that is very, very, I would say, emotive about elections. You know, student elections, as probably our seniors have known them, are not, well, as emotive as national, but they are emotive events. For them to actually accept to use that for us is key. Then, of course, there's cost for us and for the clients. It's very easy to just set up that election. So what our clients gain, what we gain, is just that simplicity, convenience, and the assurance that it's actually robust, even in its simplicity. So it's not exactly rocket science, it's not an invention. The interesting part is that they actually use it. Over the 5 years, they've been using it. That's the interesting bit about us. I think so.
All right,
Okay.
Chris?
Good job so far. Elections are emotive, as you said, and hope to see you doing elections for KTDA, the big tea farms, and the SACCOs as we go on. Maybe talk to us a little bit about data security, because that's always a concern, more so the security of the people who, you know, log in and put in their credentials. Please.
Thank you. Many have claimed to hack it so far, but none has provided proof. We are waiting. We don't mind. We would love them to test it, and we take up your offer. Thank you, sir. All right.
Welcome. All right. Thank you very much.
I have a question. I have some questions, my friend. One, some of the voters in this country, the illiterate voters. And you know, Kenya is the only country where we become illiterate during voting. But even when we're illiterate, we can still use M-Pesa. So for M-Pesa, we become literate. But for voting, we become deliberately illiterate. So how do you deal with those in your platform? So that's my first question. Do you want to answer that? Then I ask the other two questions.
So the market we are currently dealing with cannot claim to be literate currently.
Mm-hmm.
They only claim to have mulikamuizis when it's convenient.
Yes.
But when it's time for TikTok, the smartphones are available. So how we counter that is we tell them that in the setups you're in, there's a cyber, and there are resource centers, there are labs in the university. So that's how we counter the narrative of we don't have smartphones. So it's okay. Let's use a cyber, use a friend's phone, that should work.
USSD?
So, USSD, not quite. We've not gone that direction because the nature of the setup requires images for the candidates, for you at least to be able to identify your candidate of choice. So USSD probably maybe in another iteration, yes. But the issue of illiteracy, as I said, this is a journey of 1,000 miles.
Okay.
We don't expect to roll this out somewhere remote yet. But yet we have a good constituency that is able to consume such an innovation at the moment.
So my friend, I am delighted that you talk about schools, and that's a good sign because it means our democracy is getting right into our culture and our schools. So you may want to have a discussion with the Ministry of Education. I think PS, you can assist to facilitate that, to support them. But from my point of view of trade, I just want to point to you that we have the Chamber of Commerce, elections coming up. You may want to talk to them or talk to me nicely as well. And we have KTDA elections, which are very democratic, which are coming up. But my final question, you know, irrespective of the technology, some people in this country will never accept results. Are you prepared to go to court for that? Thank you very much.
Mheshimiwa, thank you. We know that. And I would say we are prepared to fungua server even before they ask. They need not ask. That is already built into our system. They need not ask.
Sorry, and I know somebody else. I think I have given you two customers, Chamber of Commerce, KTDA, I'm told by Cabinet Secretary for ICT that also UDA is coming up, but those ones accept. So you may want to talk to Eliud Waro.
Thank you. I am so happy. I'm already getting what I came for. I came for business. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I think it's your proposal to try and change the ecosystem so that everybody accepts electronic results. It's a perfect way to actually shape it. One concern that often is raised about electronic voting is group voting, where you can have people sit in a corner. If the whole family is coming and voting, it goes to the centrality of integrity of election because it's supposed to be secret of the ballot. How do you see you solving that issue? And I think first answer that one. I think I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Thank you. The truth is, there's only so much you can do. We have that still happening, I must tell you. What the candidates do, in order to motivate their voters, they hotspot for them. So of course you have got to be there. And when they're there, we don't know whether they supervise the voting. Now when the voting is all out there, there is very little you can do other than make sure that the person voting through a token that they receive on their phone or email is the right person. Now, should they want to be assisted, they're out there. There's only so much you can do. What we are looking more is increased participation, reduce cost, increase confidence. So if they know what they did, they will not come blaming us. Who had your phone? Who had your email? How did they vote for you? That's an interesting discussion. So that does happen, I agree. And there's so little you can do about it. Yes, thank you.
Maybe just a last one, and this is related to, because I think your model is centered around people being able to trust that whoever is voting is indeed that person. So how do you address matters of, that digital identity provenance?
So that, of course, is a very, very major issue. You cannot vote for anyone else. So the model we follow is the organization of organizing that election provides the voter register. So they must make sure that these are the bona fide voters. Provide their unique registration number, their phone number, email, etc. That is the first step, making sure that these are right voters. The next thing, a unique voter token is sent either to the email or the phone number of that voter. So our prayer is that the voter has their phone, or the voter has access to their email and not anyone else. And that's really as far as we can practically go at this point in time. Once they use that token once, their account is locked, they can't log in again, they can't vote again. It will be interesting to try biometrics. That will be facial recognition of voice. That's probably in the next iteration, once we get funding from our customers. Yeah, our customers, please note. Yeah, then we probably upscale it to biometrics, but that's something we've thought about. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A big round of applause for Lecturer Nthiga. Definitely a very compelling and engaging pitch as well. Thank you so much. And of course, I think he's also walked away with a lot of contacts and what he had made for an ask. Pretty interesting also that even as PS Tanui, CS Owalo, CS Kuria offered their connections, I noticed that the first ask Lecturer Nthiga had made was to a church. I don't know why I didn't hear you saying you'll give the number to your pastors. That one, we shall talk about it another day. But I'd also like to recognize the presence of the CEO of the Export Processing Zone, Hussein Aidan Mohammed, who's also here with us this particular afternoon as we get into this particular last stage of the conversation. Thank you so much for making time to be here, Bwana CEO. And as we get into this particular part of the program, I'd like to call upon Fiona Asonga, CEO of TESPOC, for the ICT Authority Summit communique. Fiona, if you could please make your way on stage. Is Fiona here? Here she is. Thank you so much. And of course, as our panel deliberates on those 5 pitches, We'll find out who definitely is the award winner at the gala dinner this particular evening. They'll sit down, share notes, and as we meet at the gala dinner, we shall know who walks away a winner right there. Fiona, stage is yours.
Thank you, Jeff. Allow me to just quickly introduce TESPOC and call TESPOC members to join me here. TESPOC is the Industry Association for ICT, and I'll be asking my members who are present in this forum to come so that we present this communique together. I will call them according to their different categories. So to get us started, I'll start with hardware and software developers. Representation from DTE Innovation Technologies, Huawei, Silicon Overdrive Convergence Solution, AWS, Logitech. Next technologies, kindly join me up here. ISPs, carriers, MNOs, Safaricom, Airtel, Dimension Data, Baran Telecom Networks, Liquid Technologies, Frontier Optical Networks, VGG Connect, Afrique Networks, Vilcom, BCS, Power Internet, Infrastructure Owners, American Towers, Soluton Telecom, Kenya Pipeline Company, Kenya Power, African Data Center, Konza, Quavatel, Adrian Technologies, Fintechs, KCB, JumboPay. So those are the range of members who are present at this forum. We have a wide range of other members, the community networks who are not here, and other app developers who are not here, but this is a representation of the 145 technology companies that set up TESPOC, run TESPOC. They run it because they form the board of directors. They determine what I do. They have the power to fire me and to engage me differently. And they make the decisions on how the association moves and what it can do, the budgets and everything. So we do have a place where you can find technology companies. If you're looking for them, if there's an investor who would like to meet with them. And with them, we are going to present the communique. I'll try and make it brief. I'm seeing it's lunchtime, so if you just give me a few minutes, I don't like to read things for long. So I'll be very brief. The Connected Kenya 2022 Summit Communique read in the presence of, first of all, industry players, then Honorable Moses Kuria, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, Honorable Edlud Owalo, Cabinet Secretary, Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, PS Engineer John Tanui, State Department, ICT and Digital Economy. During the official closing ceremony of the Connected 23 Summit on Wednesday, 5th April, at the Diamond Leisure Lodge Resort, Diani, Kwale. We, the ICT thought leaders from public, private sector, academia, policymakers, ICT champions and executives, financiers, digital innovators, and entrepreneurs in the ICT economy hereby present this thematic area structured communique as follows. We would like to first appreciate the effort of the ICT Authority in bringing us here. Thank you, Mr. Stanley Kimanguya and your team for making sure that we are all present. We all participated and all sectors of stakeholders were involved. We therefore would like to just take note of the effort that was done in partnership with the stakeholders and the communications regulator, who's I think has left, but is represented. And we continue to invite more partners to come on board to join the ICT Authority in forming this robust platform where we discuss issues that affect the ICT sector as a whole. This is the 12th summit, and as we continue to discuss issues, we continue to tackle agendas that shape the integration of ICT in the country and impact on national development. On the role of counties in the digital economy, we do note that counties play a pivotal role. We do recognize and appreciate the commitment made by Elgeyo Marakwet County in promoting ICT and also accelerating digital uptake of technology in public service delivery through partnerships with the private sector. We would like to note also the county government of Kwale for commitment to transform the counties digitally and to make sure that the county councils had good budgetary allocation to implement ICT solutions and revenue collection systems. We are, however, concerned with the challenges of counties related to siloed approach to ICT deployment and the need to close gaps in terms of capacity building and knowledge transfer in as far as ICT is concerned. And this is across all the 47 counties. We therefore hold that the government of Kenya, in partnership with the private sector, are going to develop a model to resource and deliver key projects which we have had and discussed in this meeting: the automation of government services, the delivery of the digital superhighway, and digitization of government service with all stakeholders who will enhance public participation through digitally enabled platforms, through commitment to accelerate digital adoption of ICT in the economy by all stakeholders, and collaboration to last-mile connectivity development for ease of access of internet connection across the counties to both public and private citizens. In positioning the digital economy, we recommend that the county's ICT skill set be deepened. TESPOC and its members have continuously offered to offer training to the Council of Governors, and we've not been able to get open to do that, so we hope that we will now be able to move forward and to give that training to the county governments. We expect that the country's data management be structured to enable maximum usage and access, as well as protection of the ICT infrastructure. On women in tech, we do recognize and agree that women and girls continue to be underrepresented in the tech world. Women and girls continue to be denied access and do not take up computer science skills at the university levels. The access to information translates to power. More education leads to self-determination, whereas self-determination automatically leads to more income for the women. We are concerned that women in the ICT space tend to take up the lower levels of employment, junior positions, supporting roles, rather than senior management roles, and we hope that that can change. In Kenya, only 2% of students take up university studies at secondary schools, computer studies at secondary schools. Women have less access to receive business capital for funding, and we still have challenges when women want to go and get funding from banks and they have to get their spouses to endorse certain level of funding. And ICT requires heavy investment in funding. So that means women are not able to get the loans as they should and support as they should. A McKinsey study done recently predicts that 70% of the economic decisions will be made by women in the year 2025 to 2028. All factors held constant, which means whether we support our Kenyan women or not, the world is changing and women are going to be making these economic decisions. So the sooner we can support them, the better. On data digitization as a service and data for development, we agree that digitization has accelerated from previously existing technologies, trends, but is capital intensive and hence there needs to be prioritization of resources. On emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, we are concerned that there is lack of proper regulatory framework to guide the usage of emerging tech. There are gaps in curriculum for emerging technology, and therefore we recommend that there is a need to rethink the way to build capacity on ICT skills. There is a need to revise the university programs and think about the type of curriculum being used. On positioning ICT as an accelerator, economic accelerator, we recommend the need for sector players to concentrate on digital skills and digital entrepreneurship. And here we have to contend with the fact that the government of Kenya remains heavily invested in capacity development to support digital transformation in fields of education. The digital literacy program is an example of education programs that have been very successful. The current Kenya CBC program emphasizes on competencies including communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving that are important in helping us develop niche skills for tech. We therefore recommend the creation of enabling environment and acceleration of digital business environments, ensuring accessibility of internet and affordable devices as the gap in digital transformation is around getting the devices and getting people connected, ensuring that every staff in organization and institution is digitally skilled, investing in competitiveness of Kenya's education system. Stakeholders are to focus more on digital skills training and development of infrastructure, creation of more partnerships to support the financing of digital transformation projects, investing in data-driven policy analysis, the need to design and enable devices that are affordable for students, inclusion of ICT during the drafting of CIDPs that will contribute to concrete efforts in taking digital content to the counties, and stock taking of the impact of ICT that has been there over the last 10 years. On cybersecurity, we note that regulations for digital currency should create trust amongst clients and service providers, that e-commerce has the interoperability of multiple payment systems, such as that one that can buy anything from at any given time, that money laundering is a problem because it's hard to see where the crypto is being used on the dark web. We therefore recommend the full implementation of the cybersecurity regulations, dissemination of the digital currency information to all people at all levels, sectors of the public and private, and the world is moving forward, so we need to be able to align to the main currencies of trade. That the central bank should resolve some of the challenges posed by the cryptocurrencies or non-regulated currencies, that the bankers or the providers of digital currencies can have financial service traceability. On digital skills and emerging workforce, we acknowledge that there are institutions trying to eliminate the unemployment levels in the country by training high school students who did not further their education for whatever reason on becoming software developers through a 5-year-month program. The fourth industrial revolution has presented an opportunity for reorientation and transformation in terms of leveraging digitization and technology. On open data and data protection, we appreciate the fact that government ensures ICT is integrated in the delivery of basic services such as water, electricity, registrations of persons, and the like. On digital services for government transformation, we do recommend the need for harmonization of approaches used by various agencies to contribute towards Kenya's development, employing artificial intelligence in Konza as well as Nairobi Expressway, the need for more partners to support enrollment and training of persons with disability on specialized ICT skills, the need to work on systems that will enable the automation of medical supplies, ensuring integrity of data is upheld in data integration across government institutions. On catalyzing e-commerce for employment and wealth creation, we contend that the Postal Services Corporation must be at the core of e-commerce, and that the National Addressing System will be a seamless and deliberate system that will catalyze e-commerce. We therefore recommend the need to develop infrastructure destined to export Kenyan goods, stakeholders to focus on supporting SMEs to access funding, the creation of an enabling environment for investment, the need for capacity building on professional skills as well as digital skills, the setting up of a quadruple helix for e-commerce. On data and cloud storage, we know that everybody in the digital transformation space employs cloud, making it an important tool. That everyone's priority is to increase coverage across various areas in the country. We therefore recommend that all actors to create an enabling environment that will steer data storage and cloud in the right direction, that roadmap development should be handled as a matter of urgency, ensuring seamlessness in hybrid clouds, that data storage and cloud security should have an inbuilt security system, that data storage and cloud should have advanced analytics and metrics, predictions, and features. In positioning digital services for government transformation, we are concerned that Kenya has very high risk when going through the transformation, or rather just digitizing, the bureaucracy, it is very important that even as we go through the transformation, then we don't simply digitize the incumbent bureaucracies, but find a way of aligning to tech. We recommend that there is a need for harmonization of approach used by various agencies to contribute to Kenya's development, that there is a need for more partners to support in enrollment and training of persons with disabilities and specialized skills, that there is a need to work on systems that will enable automation of medical supplies, that there is a need to ensure integrity of data is upheld in integration across government institutions, and that there is a need for more collaborations with private sector to accelerate digital transformation and ensure one-time information requests across all government institutions. On accelerating digital infrastructure growth, we recommend that Kenya needs to triple its infrastructure and become hyper-connected, that there is a need to re-engineer government operations, not simply by digitizing existing applications or systems, but also to redecorate some of the manual processes. That there is also a need to rethink how ICT stakeholders communicate with our government colleagues. That there is a need to build a smoother experience for citizens to access government applications from whichever part of the country they will be in. On digital business innovation and enterprise, we note that the citizenry, who is the main driver, the new audience, the main customer, is the main consumer, also has needs. And there is the issue of data privacy and security that needs to be addressed. Some of these changes will require us to see changes in the ongoing supply chain disruptions, changes in new technology adoptions, digitization, regulations of standards, health and safety issues as we move along. On sustainable entrepreneurship for job creation, we do recognize the efforts of the judiciary to continue to digitize in opening up the court sessions. We agree that bridging the gap and finding innovative ways to reduce or eliminate barriers to access ICT infrastructure and devices is key. We therefore recommend that the Connected Kenya Summit would not have been successful without the support of all the sponsors, all the partners, and yourselves who are in this room. We continue to invite more partners to establish a platform for collaboration, capacity building, knowledge sharing between government and the ICT sector, and this will hasten the implementation of government projects. It will also enable us to be able to find the low-hanging fruits that are quick wins that society can see and understand why ICT is then an enabler of economic growth. It is therefore our vision that the Connected Summit will adopt permanent structures and become a vibrant showcase not only for Kenya, but also become an African spectacle with lasting impact beyond our borders. We must all work together in interconnectedness, interoperability, and ensuring collaborative governance to ensure that the journey that Connected started today will be a journey that will be completed soon, so that we can move to other areas of tech. And with that, I come to the end of the communique. Thank you. And thank you, members, for making these commitments. Thank you.
One more round of applause for the Test Park Board. Fiona Asonga, ably representing service providers in the tech industry. We're going to do the closing ceremony now. I'm going to call on the ICT Authority CEO, Mr. Stanley Kamanguya, to lead us through this session.
Thank you very much, Fiona, and our colleagues in the private sector for that communique and the commitment that has come from yourselves. Our CS, Eliud Owalo, CS Moses Kuria, our PS, John Tanui, members of Parliament, both from Senate and the National Assembly, our chairman of the board, the directors, CEOs present, and industry leaders. Good afternoon. As we come to the end of the Connected Summit 2023, which was the 12th Connected Summit for our country, I am indeed filled with a lot of inspiration and motivation to continue with the efforts that our predecessors have put in place towards striving to a digital Kenya. I want to thank everybody for the support that you have extended to us, but even more importantly, for sharing your invaluable ideas during these past 3 days. From the deliberations that we have had here in this summit, it is now clear that we need to look at new ways of using technology, new ways of deploying technology, so that we can be able to leapfrog the economy. We at the authority, at the ICT authority, shall take up the resolutions from this Connected Summit, and working with all the stakeholders, we will strive to ensure that we realize the positive impacts of the efforts that we have put in this summit, so that then this can reach our communities and our industries. I think we have all agreed that we need to foster our relationship and collaboration with the private sector. And as outlined in the communique of our colleagues in the private sector, one of the key outcomes of this summit is a sector caucus that we have established to not only look at the outcomes of this summit, but to engage at a higher level with the government at both levels of government on critical sector issues, including the issues that have come up on financing and other legislations. We are committed to working together to bring a brighter future for all our citizens. Indeed, I am reminded of a quote by Abraham Lincoln that the best way to predict our future is to create it. And I think we have been challenged even by our chief guest on Monday that really we need to make the ICT sector the bull that services our economy. I really look forward to the conversation, or taking these conversations going forward, because we have the opportunity to create our future. I thank you so much for engaging with us, and I look forward to Connected Africa in the coming season. It is now my pleasure to welcome Honorable Silvanus Maritim, my board chair, to make his remarks. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Bwana CEO. Honorable Eliud Owalo, our CS, ICT and Digital Economy. Honorable Moses Kuria, CS, MITI, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry. Engineer John Tanui, PS, ICT and Digital Economy. Members of Parliament from Senate and National Assembly. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me in a minute to introduce my board members. I will ask them to stand. I'll mention your name quickly, where you are. We have our senior KK, Ken Kaunda. We have Annette Mutuku. We have Engineer Alfred Ngeno. We have Njogu Ashira. I'm sure Boniface Mbidi will be somewhere. And just to set the record straight, Waziri was gender sensitive. We have two more ladies, Rama Jilo and Edna Atisa. They may not be here, but they'll join us. And the reason why I'm doing that is I am very intentional. As Connected Summit come to an end, we as board members will wish to remain connected to you to the rest of the journey. Should you be having an idea, should you be having, an advice, should you be wishing to partner with us, we are always open and we are willing to journey with you towards a transformation or digital transformation. I don't want to say I can match Moses Kuria in storytelling, but the end of this summit reminds me of the days when we were in primary school and we were required to write a composition and insha. Most of the time we'll be given a topic or even a proverb to start with. Once upon a time, or you will be required to end with a proverb. If I was to end this summit with a proverb, it will not be in English, probably Kiswahili. And it is not a usual or the traditional Swahili proverb. It will be one that is now common in town, that mambo ni mengi, masaa ni machache. Just to say that we have a lot, but time constraint. This is our third day. We've learned quite a lot, but it is not even 10% of the content that you should be talking as we are discussing digital economy. It speaks to the theme of our Connected Summit 2023, that there are endless opportunities in digital space. As board, we are willing to partner with you. We are willing to listen to you. If you think there's anything that we can do to make your journey easy, we are always available. I want to, at this point in time, on behalf of the board, on behalf of our senior management, on behalf of the staff, sincerely thank each one of us for the role that they have played. Our speakers, our sponsors, our delegates, thank you for making Connected 2023 a success story. At this point in time, allow me to welcome Engineer John Tanui to continue from that point. I thank you.
Our CS Eliud Owalo, CS Moses Kuria, Chairman Sylvanus Maritime, CEO Stanley, board members, captains of industry, colleagues, good afternoon. CS, this is our first Connected on its 12th circle. I'm very happy when I saw the industry making commitment on behalf of all of us in respect to our sector, and we are very excited, looking forward how we will shape now the future. We appreciate and acknowledge those who have worked hard to bring this sector to the level we are in. The previous leaders in this sector, I think we had one, Victor Chalo, a former PS in this ministry. We want to acknowledge him and the contribution that he made too, and all the others. Secondly, CS, on the discussions and conversation we've had today, we think we have addressed our sector. CS Moses Kuria earlier on said we need to organize ourselves. I think in these last few minutes we have seen we are organized. And we will enhance it. And CS, you've seen also the opportunities we have in terms of potential businesses. And today you have assured us, CS Moses Kuria, that money should not be a problem. So if we have eliminated problem, he has also given us KIPI to work with us on innovation. So this sector will actually even soar more higher. CS, in conclusion, I really want to thank all the colleagues, the partners who have worked with us. It's been really a wonderful session, interacting, engaging all of you. We are committed to ensure we support you to fulfill those promises you've given us. We also have the UNDP country representative, Anthony Gorarano, whom we've had several discussions with us at the ministry, and we want at the third level to be able to access any global best practices, any global best resources that we need in our sector, or even lessons that we need to learn from any jurisdiction. So we are entering into an arrangement with UNDP on 5 areas. The first one being in the area of, we have the area of data, and CS, you mentioned that now our country, talent and data will be key in our future, the new oil. So management of our data, elimination of silos will be a key thing. E-government agenda that we have of digitizing. We also looking at making the e-commerce ecosystem safe through the digital identity and similar advisory digital skills. That's another very key area that we want to ensure we work with them to ensure that we address the employment issues and tap into all the global experiences that could be. And it's now my pleasure to invite the country representative, UNDP, Anthony Ngoranano, to make a few remarks, and thereafter we'll have our CS. Welcome, Anthony. Let's welcome.
Honorable CS Owalo, Honorable CS Kuria, PS Tanui, Chairman ICT Authority, colleagues, friends, it's a great pleasure for me to be here. My name is Anthony Ngororano. I'm the UNDP resident representative to Kenya. It's a particular honor to be here to witness the communique by TESPOC. I think many of the points raised we see not only as pertinent, but urgent and important. And I want to commit not just UNDP, but the rest of the UN system family in Kenya, engagement to continue this journey with you. Maybe just a few words on my side. As announced by PS Tanui, we're really excited to be entering into a new arrangement or partnership with the ministry. This will be one of a number. As I think you all know, one of the main elements that gets us fired up is around the Sustainable Development Goals. And the Sustainable Development Goals, if we're to look at it through the prism of Kenya today, speaks directly to the economic model that we're all convening around to build, not to build back better, but to leave no one behind, right? To leave no one behind. And within this, I think in terms of our partnership, what really, for us, if you will, is the key question that we want to respond to through our partnership. That question is how do we move mindful that digital transformation opens huge opportunities, but also significant risks in terms of people being left behind. And so through our partnership, we really are looking at ensuring equal access to, but also equal opportunity by all to the promise of digital. And within this, we really want to cast, and I think this was really well articulated in the TESPOC communique, for us to think really intelligently and in a forward-looking way around the risks that come with digital transformation with regards to really digital divides. I think in terms of the what we've done elsewhere, so this is, we are as UNDP in 170 countries, and we work in many of these countries on those critical enablers to make sure that everyone benefits equally from digital transformation. In Bangladesh, to give an example, we worked with the government on the skilling of 150,000 civil servants. In India, we are currently working with the government to ensure that 250,000 villages are basically connected. In Ukraine, even in spite of their political situations, we are working with them and have in the last 18 months been able to connect 200,000 Ukrainians to a public service platform. In the case of Kenya, we have, as PS indicated, five key areas. These are really, if you will, the preconditions required for everyone to benefit equally from digital transformation. One, as was mentioned, was the question of digital skills in the public sector. Without a public sector, right, we have 900,000 civil servants. They are going to be the vector or the engine through which the promise of digital is going to be real. What are we going to do? Specifically, with partners like Microsoft, we're going to look at the questions of artificial intelligence or AI fluency. We're going to be looking at really how to promote, if you will, the mindset or mindset change in terms of the public sector. We're going to look also at the question of financing regarding equipment and digital assets. From there, and this was also mentioned by a number of you, the question of enhancing both digital but also data governance. This question of de-siloization is real, and it's a tough one. But I think the spirit of partnership that I think we have all evidenced here today is at the heart of that. The question of digital governance, or rather enhancing the governance of digital, is also a real and difficult one. How do we ensure fundamentally that the sum is greater than the parts? And I think the role of the private sector in this is key. Continuing, the question of EID. EID is, of course, the spinal cord in this that ensures that all have not just access, but that there is trust in the interaction between citizens and state around digital public goods. And here, we're working as of today with, I think, approximately 25 countries on mounting this. We have, I think, in our role as a connector in this space, hopefully value to add to Kenya's ongoing journey. And lastly, the question of the promotion of e-government. So we have, in collaboration with many partners, some of whom are in the room, a plethora of instruments, approaches, metrics, really to help land this. Because this, I think, as we see it, and here I'm looking at digitalization more broadly, is really a continuum. It's on a continuum that maybe we could say started in recent times with devolution, right? We're talking about bringing services to people. This is, if you will, the new frontier. How do we bring people close to services? Devolution took us one part of the journey. Now digitalization will take us to Kenya's rightful place. I want to congratulate everyone in this room. This is a partnership to which, as I indicated, UNDP and other parts of the UN are fully committed. We look forward to working this journey and looking forward to the next Connect Summit next year. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you so much, the UNDP country representative. We look forward to collaborating and working together and shaping the agenda of our country. It's now my pleasure and honor to invite our CS for the closing ceremony. CS Eliud Owalo.
Good afternoon. Are you guys so hungry? Good afternoon. I was listening very keenly to Fiona of TESPOC, and I think the emerging recommendation is that we need to upscale the participation of women within our technological space. Coincidentally, I do a lot of reading in the area of leadership, and just yesterday, I was going through some study report on the correlation between leadership and organizational performance with gender as a moderating factor. And the study findings in that study report, ladies and gentlemen, espouses that gender has a moderating influence on the relationship between leadership and organizational performance. I went through one of the citations in that paper. I know my colleague Moses may not like this, but I went through one of the citations in that paper, and it espouses that 80% of the best managed organizations in the world have got women CEOs. And going further through the emerging propositions, that study argues that because the woman is the CEO, a busy chief executive who works late in the office, the traditional role of the man and woman is also on a reverse. The woman works late. The man, without a choice, of course, now, has to go home early, sort out the children, wait for madam to arrive, because from the office she also has to pass through 1-2 places to compare notes with her friends. So the man, having sorted out the children, waits for madam to arrive at about 11 midnight. Then immediately she walks in. The man asks, honey, do you want to bathe with hot water or cold water? And the man acts accordingly or responds accordingly. So I was wondering what a coincidence. And perhaps maybe we need to borrow from the findings of this study in our technological space that we need to integrate more and more women, at higher echelons within our organizations to enhance the performance of our organizations within the technological space. That is the direction, and I want to urge the men in this room to take a cue from the findings of this study, or else you will be living on borrowed time. Okay, but that's for another day. First of all, let me reiterate that I'm actually here standing in for His Excellency the President, who was actually supposed to be the one closing this ceremony. But due to unavoidable circumstances, because he's out of the country, it was not possible for him to be here. But he asked me, first of all, to pass his greetings, best regards, and best wishes to our ICT industry, and reconfirm his commitment towards utilizing ICT to turn around the Kenyan economy. And I believe that we have all seen that as far as ICT is concerned, the President is leading from the front. So some applause to the President, please. We have come, ladies and gentlemen, now to the last moments of what has been, in my view, a very fruitful assembly of minds. We met at the start of this week as thought leaders within the ICT industry and process drivers in the digital industry to review the state of the art, take note of how we have performed, analyze the gaps we have witnessed, the lessons we have learned, and what we need to do best moving forward. We have assessed our status amidst the unfolding realities. We have seen the hopes, the opportunities that are available for us, and at the same time also recognized the challenges or the impediments that we need to address moving forward. These have aptly been captured in the recommendations that were read by Fiona, the CEO of TESPOC. And those recommendations capture the collective thoughts of the team that has participated in this summit, ladies and gentlemen. So I wish to thank everyone for your different roles and contribution towards the success of this momentous event. A big vote of thanks to the organizers led by ICTA, the sponsors, the partners, the exhibitors, and of course, the media for playing an integral augmenting role towards making sure that this process is a success. And of course, all the delegates who have participated in this forum, either physically or virtually. Above all, let me also thank the Almighty God for watching over us and walking us through all the stages of the planning, the organization, and for bringing us to this point where in the next couple of hours or so, we will now be parting and hope to meet again soon in another forum in relation to our dear ICT industry. Over the past 3 days, ladies and gentlemen, we have traversed and explored the digital landscape. We have had very insightful and informative encounters. We have looked into the future of work and life with fresh eyes from a digital perspective. We have seen unlimited possibilities, as the theme of this summit aptly captures. What we are agreed on, ladies and gentlemen, is that the digital economy can do for us amazing things, and not just in the formal working places, but even for those of us who are in the creative and the gig economies. In blockchains, robotics, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and in other emerging spaces and systems, the promise is immense. And we have therefore reaffirmed the potential of ICT in creation of jobs and generation of wealth. That, ladies and gentlemen, has been placed at our disposal, and what therefore remains with us is the challenge of facilitating optimal uptake of the opportunities that lie therein. ICT is redefining the whole notion of employment and unemployment at the same time. To be jobless is increasingly coming to mean that you have no access to digital platforms, or skills, or even both. For the new job markets, no matter what your field may be, we are now in the cyberspace. And that is the place that all of us need to migrate to. If you don't, then you are actually living on borrowed time. As the Kenya Kwanza government, we will continue to provide the requisite infrastructure and create an enabling and facilitative environment for the private sector to thrive, specifically the ICT sector to thrive. And we shall intentionally seek to make our country an empowered digital society in line with our vision, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, informed by our mandate as a ministry, which is the very reason for our very existence. And we will work with all of you, as I mentioned on the first day, locally or internationally, to make this happen. Towards this end, allow me to say a big thank you to the private sector and to the foreign delegates and exhibitors who joined us at this summit this year. May I take this early opportunity to invite you to come again next year and moving forward to help us in planning the African Connected and perhaps the Global Connected Summit here in Kenya. But meanwhile, don't disappear. We are going to remain active between now and the next summit, pursuing the lessons that we have learned at the end of this summit. And as trusted partners, we count upon you to walk the talk with us. Once again, regardless that you physically came to be with us or not, you can be part of that process through distant participation online. May I also thank those from the legislative arm of government who participated in this summit, because your input into some of the propositions emanating from this summit is imperative, and we look forward to working with you to ensure that we create an enabling legal and regulatory framework to enable the ICT industry thrive. To the judiciary and other state organs who participated in this forum, we say thank you, and we are happy that we have quite a bit also to learn from the digitization and digitalization work that has gone on within your operations, and that will, of course, inform, or we will benchmark with what your experiences are to make our performance as government better. We have had the proposals of the summit as have been read. What we now need to do, or what remains for us, ladies and gentlemen, is to reflect on them. I want to assure you that what is deemed feasible, instantly we will go ahead and embark on the process of implementation. What needs further interrogation or consultations within relevant levels of government, we will embark equally on that process immediately so that we facilitate successful implementation of those propositions as required. We came here to harvest new ideas, ladies and gentlemen, and rest assured that those recommendations emanating from this forum will be implemented. And I hope, of course, you remain ready and available to help us walk the journey of implementation as well. Otherwise, once again, I say thank you very much to everybody. I wish you journey mercies as you go back to your bases. Travel safely, whether by road or by rail, or on the water or by the air. And may God abide with you all the way. Have a happy Easter holiday. And to all of you, we owe you a great debt of gratitude. May God bless you. Thank you very much. So may I now formally declare this summit officially closed on behalf of His Excellency the President. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Waziri. For not only gracing us with your presence in the closing ceremony, but from the word go, when we started the summit, you've been available to us. You have guided us, and we thank you for the support. I also want to thank CS Moses Kuria for taking time to be with us today. And I thank also the members of the parliament who have sat through these sessions. We have had a number of them, some of them sitting in sessions throughout the night. Like yesterday, we sat with some of them past midnight, and it's been really, really engaging. I also want to thank UNDP for the collaboration and the support that you're giving us. We also have other development partners who have continued to support us in a great way, including the World Bank. And I know the World Bank team is also here. Maybe they can just stand up quickly and wave. Or you're alone, the others, okay, fine. Thank you very much, the World Bank team. Indeed, through the efforts of our cabinet secretary, recently we have signed up a funding agreement for the Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Program with the World Bank, which is very much aligned to the activities that we have discussed here. And this will help us kick off implementation of the issues that we have discussed here today. Finally, I want to thank all of us, the delegates, for being patient with us, for your contributions and for your ideas. I also want to thank our partners in the event organization, our MCs for a good job. Let us appreciate Jeff and Victoria for the good work they have done. And finally, I want to thank my team, the ICT Authority team, for working endlessly and tirelessly several months before, and a number of sleepless nights the last couple of days. We thank you very much for your efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, as we go for lunch, earlier I had promised that those of us who did not have an opportunity to showcase their skills properly can do so later in our gala dinner, which will be hosted by our cabinet secretary. I am informed there are some photos to be taken before lunch, so I will invite Mr. Mulei for that. But I thank you so much and look forward to further engagements with the industry. Asanteni sana and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Bwana CEO, you'll also be part of that particular photo, so I'd like you to please remain on stage for that. Our two cabinet secretaries, please also come on stage. Commissioner Kasaid, please. On stage, PS Tanui as well. Chairman of the board as well would come on stage at this particular point in time. I think you can also have CEO Hussein and Representative Ngororano with us on stage for this particular photo. As they take their photo and get this done, of course, we need to capture this particular moment and some of the pledges and promises that were made from these particular individuals. And we'll see what happens 12 months from now as we get this particular forum back together again in this summit to see how far we've come and what needs to be done as well. So as they take this particular photo, they will take the photo, and once we're done,
center stage, so we can scoot over to
further down,
left a bit,
further down
stage.
Our photographers will guide.
And then any CEOs of state corporations and
If you're
private
here.
sector in the room, kindly join us on stage as well.
As we do that,
We need some women. Hopefully there's some women CEOs
Fiona,
in the room.
sorry
Fiona,
about that.
kindly join
Come on
us.
stage.
Fantastic.
There we go.
And we did have the two lady senators from the ICT committee. If
Are they still here?
with us- If they're still with us, please join us on stage as well. Fantastic.
And as we all get on stage, let us get a direction from the photographers. I can see it's going to be a pretty wide shot, but they will advise accordingly on how that is done. As this particular photo is taken, of course, our cabinet secretaries and the PS will exit the stage and, of course, the room after that for lunch. Speaking of lunch, the rest of us will head on for lunch at Bustani. That particular point in time. After that, we did promise a roundtable networking session. If you haven't yet registered for the people you want to network with, you can do that at the ICTA booth. This is both public and private sector networking as well. So even as we talk about that, ministries, state departments, county governments as well, please avail yourselves for that particular networking session that will take place in this plenary at 3 p.m. And you make sure we deepen those engagements as to get them moving at that particular point in time. I'll move my attention from here to the stage and ask our guests to please smile for the photo. We don't want them to think it was under duress. Please. That's nice.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for indulging us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And you may take your leave to our key guests. Thank you once again. One more round of applause. Thank you for gracing the occasion. Much, much appreciated. One last announcement from the ICT Authority CEO. He mentioned caucuses, and this is for the private sector to organize a bit better. So let me share a URL that you all can join, caucus.icta.go.ke. Thank you so much. Thank you, Waziri. Thank you so much. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you, CEO. Thank you. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Also, feedback as well for those of you who haven't managed to do that. Scan the QR code. This, of course, courtesy of our platinum sponsor of Connected Summit, Safaricom. And you can put in your details and feedback on all of the sessions. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to make one more announcement for dinner?
We have a gala dinner at 7:30 p.m. That will be at Mnazi Beach. I have a feeling we're all going to lunch, so just please, the dinner at 7:30 p.m. at Mnazi Beach. Let's all convene at lunch. See you in the afternoon. Asante sana.
Focus.